Hello everybody, Interi, back again with another video. And today, people, I want to talk about these 4 Grand Slam events that we have every year. The biggest tournaments of the year in the men's tennis and women's tennis, for that matter. And what I want to talk today about is which of these 4 Grand Slam events is the hardest to win. All of 4 are hard to win, of course. You have to win 7 matches in each of the Grand Slams you play in. Australian Open, of course, the first one. French Open, the second one. Wimbledon, the third. And the last one, the fourth, is US Open. But which of these 4 Grand Slam events are the most hardest to win and most brutal to win? I've heard many opinions over the years, many different opinions. Which of these 4 that people believe and think are the most difficult one to win, is the most difficult one to win. Many thinks it is French Open because it's on clay, it's long rallies, you have to be brutal good with your physically. You have to be solid from baseline, you have to be consistent and things like that. And yeah, I can agree that French Open is definitely hard to win. One of the hardest tournaments to win in general, in the whole season, tennis season. But is it the hardest one? If we talk now about the 4 Grand Slams. That's the topic. Which Grand Slam is the hardest to win? I'm gonna say which is the hardest to win in my opinion and why. I'm gonna give my arguments. I have French Open on the second place in my list. Actually, people, not the first place. French Open is brutal hard to win. Absolutely. That is why it's on my second place. But on my first place, people, and this may be gonna sound little, many people maybe not gonna agree with me, especially the Rafa fans. But you know, people, me by now. I've always said, I'm always gonna be honest, people, in my videos. I'm always gonna say what I feel. And then, maybe some of you agrees, maybe some of you doesn't agree. I'm just gonna give my opinions, people. I'm gonna give my thoughts, my tennis knowledge, what I think and how I think. And then you can write comments below and say what if you agree or not. But I'm gonna give my thoughts anyway. French Open is the second one, people. It's the second hardest Grand Slam to win. I have that on my second place. My first place that I think, in my first number that I think is the hardest Grand Slam to win, about these 4, Australian Open, French Open, Wimbledon, US Open, is Wimbledon, people. In my opinion, is Wimbledon. And I'm gonna give you my arguments why. When it comes to hard, difficult, long rallies, that is not what Wimbledon is about. We all know that, because Wimbledon is a fast surface. It is the fastest surface that we have. At least one of the fastest, together with Australian Open, because the Australian Open surface is pretty fast as well. But I don't know, they are similar. Which of these 2 Grand Slams are fastest? I think Wimbledon is the fastest, but maybe I can... In the latest time, people have said that Australian Open has been really, really fast over the years. So that has... Because grass has slowed down over the years. Yes, I know that. When Pistol Pete, Boris Becker, Stefan Edberg was competing in their times, grass was much faster. I know that. So grass has been slowed down, of course. But it's still one of the most fastest surfaces that we have. In my opinion, I think so. And I hold Wimbledon as the most difficult Grand Slam to win, people. I really do. Because I'm going to give you my arguments why I have Wimbledon as number 1 and why I have French Open as number 2. French Open, I'm going to give you just one example. We're going to take Rafael Nadal, the king of clay. He has won 11 French Open titles, and he will win more if he's healthy. I really don't think he has won his last. He was in deep trouble last year, I remember, against Diego Schwartzman. I think it was in the quarterfinals, I believe. He lost the first set, and it was a breakdown in the second set. And then it started raining and things like that. I think they disbanded the match. They took a break because it was raining too much. And then when they come back, we know that Rafa did a great comeback, and he won that match in 3-1 in the fourth set. He won that match in 4 sets. But he was in big trouble. He lost the first set, and it was a breakdown in the second set. But on clay, people, you have time. You have time to do these kind of comebacks like Rafa Nadal did. Look, he was 1.5 sets down. He lost the first set, and he was down in the second set. But he still managed to come back and win the match 3-1. Because on clay, people, when you lose the first, when you lose your serve, to take for example your serve, it is not the end of, it is not the judgment day or something like that. Because you can come back. Because on clay, the serve is not a huge weapon. You can still come back. You can still break back. Because you on clay, you cannot do you will not do over 50 services or 40 services in a match. You cannot do that. Not even John Isner can do that. Because we all know John Isner is one of the greatest servers of all time. But even him cannot do that on clay, because the surface is the most slow surface that we have on tennis. And when you play on clay, you still have time to come back. You can be down 1 set and even 2 sets. You can be down, but you can still come back. Like, for example, Roger Federer has done a couple of times in his career on clay. I remember one match against Tommy Haas in 2009 in the 4th round. Roger Federer was down 2-0. He lost the first set and he lost the second set. Then he come back and he won that match in 5 sets. It is really, really difficult to do that on grass, people. It is really, really difficult, because on grass, the serve is a much, much bigger weapon. When you lose your serve, you can basically lose the set, because it is so hard to break back, people. Because the serve is you can say it's the biggest weapon you can have on grass. That's why people like Isner, people like Kevin Anderson, people like Sam Querrey, they are not over deadly good tennis players. Yes, they are good, of course. Especially Kevin Anderson is pretty good. He has been in the top 10 now for a couple of years. And he has 2 Grand Slam finals. But Sam Querrey, John Isner, they have never played a Grand Slam final. No, they have not done that. So, but they always do good on grass, because they have the serve, people. What I want to say is that you are in much, much bigger danger on grass, people. That's why I consider as Wimbledon as the most difficult Grand Slam to win. Because even if you are a very good tennis player, you have serve, you have forehand, you have backhand, you have slice. Like for example, Roger Federer has. He is the greatest grass player of all time, in my opinion. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but I think that, because he has 8 Wimbledon titles, and the closest to him to come near to him about Wimbledon titles is Pete Sampras with 7. So I consider Roger Federer as the greatest grass court player of all time, and when he loses his serve, he can be in big danger. He can lose that set, and if he loses once more a serve in the second set, he can lose that second set as well, and oops, he can be knocked out. And that's the thing with grass. The margins are very, very small, people. Grass is the surface with the margins that are the smallest of all surfaces. That's why on grass you can have a set point in a set, then you basically don't never see a set point again. Or you can have 3 or 4 or 5 break points, and if you don't convert, you will probably never see a break point again. You have to be really, really effective on grass. You have to take your opportunities when you have them, because if you don't, you most probably will get knocked out. We saw Roger Federer against Kevin Anderson last year. He had these opportunities in the match. He had the match point. But he didn't convert, and he never saw a match point again. And these kind of small margins we have on grass, because it's so fast, because the serve makes so much damage. If you lose your serve, you can lose the set, you can lose the match. And I don't feel that is the case on clay, really. You can be down 1 set and even 2 sets, but you can still come back. Take one player like Rafa Nadal. If he's down 2 sets, for example, in French Open, he has never been that. He has never been down two sets to love. He has not been that. But if he should be in that scenario, he most probably has good chances to come back if he doesn't face a player like Novak Djokovic, for example. But if he plays like Kevin Anderson or John Isner, I remember the match in 2011, a very epic good battle. All credit to John Isner. He's the only player actually who has pushed Nadal to a 5th set battle in French Open. He is the only player, because all the matches Rafa Nadal he has won in French Open is 3-0 or 3-1. He has never played the 5-set battle, Rafa Nadal, in French Open, and the only match he has done that, it was in 2011 in the first round against John Isner. And John Isner, he did his best match of his life on clay, I believe. He served great. I think he did a lot of services that match. I don't remember how many, but for sure over 40 or 50 for sure. And I think he was 2-1 up. I think, correct me guys if I'm wrong, but I think he was 2-1 up in the match. And he really bothered Rafael Nadal big times, really. He really did, because he was serving big, he was going big with his shots, especially with his forehand, because we all know that John Isner has 2 great weapons. It is his serve, of course, the number 1 huge weapon. Without his serve, John Isner would not be in the top 50, in my opinion. Not even top 50, really. And the second big weapon that he has, it is his forehand. And at that day against Rafa Nadal in 2011 French Open first round, he really, really hurt Nadal with his big serve and with his first strike tennis with his forehand. He avoided all the long rallies as much as he could, of course. But of course, as long as the match became, Rafa Nadal weared him down like he always does with his opponents, and he won that battle in the end 3-2. But what I want to say is that Rafa Nadal had time to come back, to win the match in the end, and which he did. On grass, you don't really have that kind of margins, because the margins are so small. You don't really have that kind of time. And I've seen it over the years when Roger Federer has lost a couple of matches, when he has lost the first set, and he didn't never come back. Like I remember a match in 2013 against the Ukrainian guy, Stavovsky. I don't really remember his name. Ukrainian guy. You people for sure know which player I mean. But it was in 2013, at least in the 2nd or 3rd round, something like that. Roger Federer did not. He lost the match in 3-1. He lost a couple of sets in the beginning. I don't know if Roger won the first set or not, but he lost a couple of sets in the beginning, and then in the 4th set it was tiebreak, and he lost the tiebreak, and he lost the match in the end. He didn't have enough time to come back because the margins are very small on grass, and you can be in danger even against a player who is outside top 100. Really, if he has a good day, if he serves good, if he hits, if he finds the spots, if he finds the lines, if he doesn't do a lot of mistakes, you are in big dangers even against a qualifier. Really, you really are. So that's why, people, I strongly believe that Wimbledon is the most hardest Grand Slam to win. This is my opinion. French Open is the second one. I agree that French Open is not easy to win as well. Absolutely not. I am not saying that. So that Rafa Nadal has won 11 French Open titles, that is really unbelievable, really. And what the scary part is that he has not won his last, most probably has not won his last either. So French Open is definitely a really difficult Grand Slam to win. It is the second most difficult Grand Slam to win because all that brutal, long, physical game that you have to play on clay, and you have to really be strong physically to hang in there for 3, 4, sometimes even 5 hours to win a match. So it is really difficult. Absolutely, I agree. But I strongly believe that in Wimbledon, on grass, you are in more dangers and you can be knocked out against less good players because of the margins are very small, and definitely smaller than what they are on clay, and what they are on all other surfaces as well. So, people, that was my take on which of these 4 Grand Slams that are most difficult to win, which is the most difficult to win of these 4, and in my opinion, that is Wimbledon. I hope you people enjoyed this video, and see you next time, and take care. Goodbye.